going on, Team IBB? It is IBB James here with the hashtag IBB Windy, aka Marathon Extraordinaire, rise like a phoenix, take over the world, and just a really cool dude.
Can I say?
Very cool dude. So, if you haven't checked out his first video of his hashtag IBB Top 3 Trilogy, Keys to
Success.
So, without further ado, your first one was we can't tell you, you gotta watch it. And then let's go into number 2.
Yeah, if you watched the first video, you heard about my story a little bit. So I want to talk about being receptive.
Okay.
And a lot of the story that we talked about in the first part was starting to believe in myself and stop listening to others.
Yep.
But one of the things that I stopped doing is listening to others. So...
Touche, sir.
Yes, and that's why when you watch the top 3, you'll see why I chose these 3 in successive order.
Right.
Instead of there being a top 3, 2, 1, I chose 3 in a timeline order.
Got it.
So the reason why I chose...
This is interesting. I love this. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, what can I say? I'm a Renaissance man. So the reason why I chose Be Receptive is when I got picked on in school and I got made fun of every day and it hurt my feelings and it brought me down, I stopped listening to people. I completely stopped listening to people. And that includes the right people. The people who wanted to support you, because I was so single-minded focused that I decided that only I was right, only I could do things. And instead of being the humble person that I was before, I started becoming arrogant and I started throwing things back at people and being passive-aggressive. Yeah, especially when I went to college and I came back home, I would say, "Look at me now. How do you like me now?" And being very braggadocious about it, which is not a quality people like, James.
Yeah.
So, not at all.
Really?
No. So, and it took me years to go back and find that happy medium. And now one of my biggest strengths, according to my principal and according to my friends, is the fact of mine that I am receptive, I'm willing to listen, and willing to improve. But it took a long time because I went so far from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah, the pendulum.
Yeah, I did a pendulum, and now I'm finally starting to creep towards that middle. And there are still times where I think I'm right and you're wrong, but there are other times...
Which is all the time. No.
Should be. I'm perfect, after all. But in all seriousness, it took a really long time, a couple years in my profession to know, like, I have 30-year professionals there. I should probably listen to them as a first-year teacher, a second-year teacher.
Right.
And, I walked in with a college swagger, like, I'm smarter than you. And
check out my degree, baby.
Oh, yeah, it's Ohio University. Number 1 at partying, number 1 at being awesome. Of course,
Teaching will who cares about that?
Yeah, exactly. So, I had to eat a lot of crow and a lot of humble pie to get to the point where I'm at and starting to listen to others. And you know what? My grandpa, he's gone now, I miss him, but he always told me, he goes, I never talk because I can never say anything stupid. That was his response.
That's dude.
Yes. And he says,
Genius.
Listening to others makes you smarter than if you're talking to others. And I really didn't understand that until probably he was gone and he didn't tell me that anymore. And you appreciate those stories.
Yeah.
And I noticed at that point, I need to start listening to myself. And one of the things we talk about is IBB marathoning. And those are, when you're training those hard Saturdays, and the only thing that's left is your mind. And your mind can run anything during those 3 hours because it's only you.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you're not talking. You're getting advice. You're getting professional development in your own head.
Yep.
And you're able to be receptive. You think about your mistakes. You think about your trials, your tribulations, and you think about, most important, your successes.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those stories that tell in your head, you can't be receptive. But when you're done, you hear something from a coach, a mentor. Be receptive. It's good advice. People sometimes know you better than you know yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's so, and we have, we'll go on our runs. We made it at the porta potty parking lot at the Metro Parks.
Classy.
And, very classy. It's so like I'll talk about something and then you'll give me feedback and it's like, I'm like, I never thought of that way. And it just kind of, outside looking in, man, it's just way easier to see someone else doing well or screwing up, or what I'm saying. I find that fascinating because that's the same. I mean, that's the same thing too. And I experienced that in the business world where I went from, listen to everybody. I would viciously seek opportunity. That's kind of like a thing that like I was all about. It was like, hey, I need to find the smartest people, the most successful people, and like that's kind of too with this IBB top 3. That was something to where before it was this. Yeah. I was something that was just like, what are your top 3 keys? Like, tell me what's your top 3 things that I should be focusing on or whatever. And I would always listen. And I would just always take in and make it my own. And then like you start to get a little success. Yes. And you start to get you start to again you're feeling better. You're like getting that momentum, and you're like, I'm unstoppable. But then too you steamroll people that for whatever reason, like, and it's not like you consciously do it. It just kind of you start to get the way I said I had a stint, probably a 6-month stint, where things were going so well for the first time that I made some of my biggest mistakes, like bonehead moves, because I was high. I was intoxicated on my own crap. On my own, I'm not gonna say what, fill in the blank, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was drinking my own Kool-Aid on, I'm successful here, so I no longer need help over here, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so no, I think that the be receptive, like, that is huge. That is huge. And is there anything that, like, books you've read, or is there anything like self-talk? You know what I'm saying? So like, okay, I'm not gonna talk out loud. I'm gonna talk in my head and be receptive. But like, are there saying, like, do you have your grandpa's voice in your head and stuff? Like, what do you focus on? How did you go from not receptive to now I'm back?
Now I'm back to normal. A lot of mistakes, a lot of humble pie. Okay. I got rifted from my first job because we lost staff, and they could have chose the other person, but they chose me because I wasn't as receptive as the other person. And I was 23, and I had to go back and move with my parents. And that was not a fun experience. Yeah. I mean,
wait, is that fun? Is that?
I love my parents and I love the free rent, but as a man, no, it wasn't.
As a manly man.
As a manly man, yeah. So no, it wasn't. So there were a lot of kicks, and there's a lot of steps I had to fall to get back up. And being receptive is, you're going to get kicked down, but getting back up. And that's from, somebody can reach out your hand and pick you up, and that's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Humble pie. So someone is like watching this and they're like, you know what? I haven't been. Never listen to the people that are trying to bring you down. Never, ever. But the people that are trying to build you up, like, and it's hard sometimes to decipher. Yes. But like, so listen, make sure you're being receptive to the right people. So someone's watching this, you're like, all right, I need to be listening to the right people again. How do they take that first step to eat some humble pie?
You gotta say you're sorry, and you gotta take accountability for yourself.
Who would have thunk? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And it goes miles.
Yes.
It goes 26.2 miles. It's the marathon of your.
Saying you're sorry and eating crow is harder than any marathon you will ever run or any journey.
True.
Because you have to admit to yourself. Yes. Before you admit to somebody else that you screwed up.
Yeah, which is the worst.
Yes. Because you have to then, and for some people, they will give you the wrath before they say, I accept your apology. And
you're sorry? I don't forgive you.
Here's why I know you're sorry, and then finally I forgive you. And
beat you down.
No, and I mean, some people do that. Some people will be waiting and receptive and just say, you're forgiven, I understand now. But if you can detail and just don't say you're sorry, you can say, I'm sorry, James. That's not the same as, I'm sorry because I said that you were this, and this, and explain and outline the reasons why you're wrong. Yeah. That's receptive. Being I'm sorry is not receptive. That's not receptive enough. You need to detail what you did.
Being sorry is like blank. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing.
Yes.
Well, your arm got cut off, and you're like, well, we're just gonna put a Band-Aid on there.
Perfect, right?
I'm sorry. Let's put a Band-Aid on it. I'm sorry, I cut your arm off. So
yeah.
But
no, that's not good. that won't work.
No, so be specific and detailed. Yeah, so that because then they like because too, you know, I mean, all of us have gotten that like I'm sorry, like no, you're not, like you know, but if you can say, hey, 3 years ago, I said this and it was wrong.
Correct.
Because you know that person remembers and that's what's dude.
People remember all the
People
bad stuff.
remember all the bad stuff.
Yes.
All the bad stuff. So very cool, man. Well, anything else to add to being receptive?
Just like I said, just be receptive. Be willing to listen to others. They might
awesome.
have a better idea than you, and that's okay.
Yeah, and it's let the best idea win, dude.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. And what was it? What was the thing your grandpa said?
You know, I never talked. So I
So,
didn't say anything stupid.
say anything stupid. So don't say anything stupid. Don't be like me. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Team IBB, thank you for joining in for part 2 of the hashtag IBB Top 3 Trilogy with hashtag IBB Windy. Rise like a phoenix. Marathon extraordinaire. But such a powerful message, man.
Thank
I was
you.
like, I'm excited. This is sweet. Very cool. So, and too, for everyone that may be watching this that I have offended or hurt or whatever, I am sorry, and please, one day, hopefully I will get you the details to give you a genuine apology. I'm like, man, who have I not apologized to? Who have I not been receptive
Let
to?
me get my
So-
list. Whoa, it's
Oh,
only
crap.
Oh, no, it's a long one.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my life apologizing.
There
But
you
thank
go.
you so much for joining in. Take this advice and put it into action now. Do not wait. All right. Till next time.
Stay
Stay burn proof. My man.